Imagine this. It is 2:17 a.m. The SOC dashboard looks normal, no critical alert, no ransomware alert, no malware alert, no data exfiltration alert. Everything looks quiet. But inside the network, an attacker is already moving. First, they tried a few passwords. Then one login succeeded. Then they opened PowerShell. Then they checked the host name. Then they listed domain users. Then they tested access to another server. But the SIEM did not scream. No big red alert came. Only small events were created. A login event, a process event, a DNS query, a connection event. Individually, nothing looked dangerous, but together they were telling a story. And this is where a normal analyst may miss the attacker. But a threat hunter will catch the behavior. Start hunting. First, let us understand alert monitoring. It's the daily activity in most SOC teams. A tool generates an alert, the analyst opens it and validates the finding. Is it a true positive, false positive, suspicious, or benign? Let's look at a SIEM example. A SIEM alert says, multiple failed logins detected for user John. The analyst investigates. Who is the user? From which IP? Was there a success after? This is alert monitoring. The analyst is reacting to an alert that has already fired. Something happens. Or an EDR alert. PowerShell executed with a suspicious encoded command. We check the parent process. Was it from Word, Excel, or command? What was the command? This is reactive defense. Alert monitoring is alert driven. In the next part, we'll see why that's not enough. Threat hunting is different. In threat hunting, we do not wait for an alert. We ask a question and create a hypothesis. Instead of waiting for a suspicious PowerShell alert, a hunter asks, are there machines where Office apps are launching PowerShell? Instead of waiting for a credential dumping alert, we search for processes accessing LSAS's memory in unusual ways, or users logging into multiple servers where they normally do not log in. This is proactive defense. You are searching for hidden signs of attacker activity before the tool even tells you something is wrong. Alert monitoring is alert driven. Threat hunting is hypothesis driven. One shows alerts, the other shows abnormal behavior. In the next part, we will look at the main differences between the two. Keep learning, start hunting. Let's compare both side by side. Alert monitoring is reactive. You act after the alert fires. Threat hunting is proactive. While monitoring waits for a rule to trigger, hunting starts before the alert by asking, can an attacker bypass our detection? Alert monitoring depends on rules and signatures. Threat hunting depends on your understanding of attacker behavior and business context. Monitoring investigates known detections like malware or brute force. Hunting searches for unknown or missed activity, like a user logging in from a rare workstation or a service account being used interactively. These things may not trigger alerts. This mindset improves your entire defense. You aren't just closing tickets, you are connecting dots to find the real story. Next, let's see how this works in the real world with the SOC story. Don't wait for alerts, start hunting. Now let's understand with the SOC story. One night, the SOC team received no critical alert. Everything looked normal. But a threat hunter decided to check authentication activity for privileged accounts. He searched for successful logins from unusual machines. He found one strange event. A domain admin logged into a normal workstation at 1:43 a.m. It didn't look dangerous yet, but he checked previous events and found 5 failed login attempts. Not enough to trigger a brute force alert, he checked the source machine and found PowerShell execution. The command was using encoded parameters. Then he checked network activity. The machine connected to multiple internal systems. Remote logon activity was found. Now the story was clear. An attacker using compromised credentials. This is why threat hunting matters. Start hunting. Let's break down that story technically. We start with suspicious behavior 1. Failed logins followed by a success. Look for Windows event IDs 4625 and 4624. Check the username, source IP, and the number of failures. Next, watch for privileged accounts on normal workstations. A domain admin shouldn't log into a random machine at 1:43 a.m. For PowerShell, hunt for encoded commands and download cradles. Use sysmon event ID 1 or PowerShell log 4104. Lateral movement often uses SMB or RDP. Watch for event ID 5140 for shares or 4688 for process creation. Finally, suspicious service creation. Event ID 7045 tells you a new service was installed. Check the names. Knowing these logs turns a beginner into a real investigator. Next, we map this to MITRE. Start hunting. Now let's map this story to MITRE and CK. This is important because threat hunting becomes stronger when you understand attacker techniques. Mapping to MITRE helps you identify the why behind the activity. In our example, we start with credential access. The attacker used valid accounts for credential access and discovery commands like netuser and hostname to understand the environment. They executed payloads via PowerShell and moved laterally using remote services like SMB and RDP. For persistence, they created a new system service. MITRE is not just for reports. It helps you think like an attacker. Instead of asking which alert came, you ask which attacker technique could be happening silently. That is real threat hunting. Next, we'll dive into some practical hunting logic you can use today. Don't wait for alerts. Start hunting. Now let's create a simple practical hunt. This hunt is beginner friendly. Successful login after multiple failed login attempts. Our hypothesis is that an attacker may be guessing or spraying passwords and eventually getting a successful login. To start, you need Windows security logs, authentication logs, and SIM logs. You'll need fields like username, IP, and event ID. The logic is simple. Find users who had multiple failed login attempts followed by a successful login from the same source IP. In Splunk, we search for event codes 4625 and 4624, count them by user, and filter where failures are high and success is at least 1. This doesn't mean it's malicious, it's a lead. Hunting gives you suspicious leads, and then you, the analyst, validate them. Next, we'll look at a similar example using Microsoft Sentinel and KQL. Don't wait for alerts, start hunting. For Microsoft Sentinel, you can use similar hunting logic. We use KQL to summarize failed and success counts by account. We summarize failed count and success count, then filter for users where failures are high but a success finally happens from a specific source IP. Again, this is not the final investigation, this is just the starting point. As a hunter, you must look deeper. Check if the source IP was normal. Was the user expected to log in at that time? Was it from a new country or a VPN? Was PowerShell executed after login? Was there any lateral movement? Was any suspicious file downloaded or process created? This is the hunting mindset. Next, we'll look at why traditional alerts often miss these attacks. Start hunting. Now let's understand why alerts can miss attacks. Reason 1. Attackers use legitimate tools already present in Windows. Because these tools are legitimate, security tools may not always block them. Reason 2. Attackers use valid credentials. If an attacker steals a password and logs in successfully, it looks like a normal user entry. No malware, just a valid login. Reason 3. Attackers stay below the threshold. They move slowly to avoid brute force rules. A hunter finds these patterns over time. Reason 4. Logging may be incomplete. If the SIM can't see the logs, it can't alert on the behavior. Every SOC has detection gaps. Threat hunting helps you find those gaps and improve your entire program. It's about continuous improvement. Next, we'll see how threat hunting specifically helps improve SOC maturity. Don't wait for alerts, start hunting. Threat hunting does not only find attackers, it improves the entire SOC by discovering logging gaps, weak rules, and missing correlation. When you hunt, you may find that critical logs are missing. For example, you find PowerShell logs are disabled on many machines. You discover misconfigured systems or excessive admin privileges that need fixing. Hunting drives the recommendations that harden your program. Now you can recommend enabling script block logging or privilege reduction. This is why mature SOC teams prioritize threat hunting. Threat hunting is more than just investigation. It is continuous improvement. It builds a stronger defense for the future. Next, I'll give you a simple framework you can use to start your own hunts today. Don't wait for alerts, start hunting. Now I will give you a simple framework. As a beginner, do not complicate threat hunting. Use this 5-step method. Step 1. Create a hypothesis, like searching for valid credentials after failures. Step 2. Identify data sources like Windows security or VPN logs. Step 3. Write the hunting query. Start simple. Step 4. Analyze results. Look for unusual users, odd hours, or rare destinations. Step 5. Convert findings into detection. If the logic is useful, turn it into a SIEM rule, EDR detection, or playbook. The final goal is not only to find one event, it is to improve detection for the future. That is how threat hunting becomes valuable. Next, we'll cover the specific investigation questions that help you build the timeline. Don't wait for alerts, start hunting. Whenever you find suspicious login behavior, ask these questions. They turn a beginner analyst into a real investigator. Do not only look at one log. You must build the timeline. Before, during, and after login. That is how you find the truth. Was the login expected? Was the user working? Is the source IP known and managed? Was MFA used? Or was there a failed login before success? What happened after login? Was PowerShell or CMD executed? Was a new process created, a network connection made, or a service installed? Build the complete picture. Before login, during login, after login. Don't stop at the first alert. Next, we'll recap our case study and see how these questions connect the dots. Don't wait for alerts. Start hunting. Let's recap our case. The SIEM did not show a critical alert, but the threat hunter found a series of suspicious events. Failed login attempts, followed by a successful login, and a privileged domain admin account being used on a normal workstation. Encoded PowerShell execution, lateral movement across internal systems, and finally, a suspicious service creation event. Individually, each event looked small. Together, they showed attacker behavior. This is the power of threat hunting. Threat hunting connects the dots and converts noise into a story. It finds exactly what traditional alerts miss. Next, we'll talk about the common mistakes beginners make when starting their hunting journey. Don't wait for alerts, start hunting. Now let's talk about common mistakes beginners make. Mistake 1. Thinking no alert means no threat. This is wrong. No alert only means no detection fired. Mistake 2. Running random queries. You need a hypothesis. Mistake 3. Ignoring context. PowerShell may be normal for an admin but suspicious for finance. Mistake 4. Looking at one event only. Attackers work in chains. Initial access, execution, persistence, lateral movement. You must connect events. Mistake 5. Not documenting findings. Every hunt should produce output, even if you find nothing. Document your hypothesis, data, and recommendations. Avoiding these mistakes builds your hunting maturity. It turns you from a ticket closer into a real investigator. Next, we'll cover what a professional threat hunting report should include. Don't wait for alerts. Start hunting. A professional threat hunting report is essential. It should include the hunt title, the hypothesis, and the data sources you used. Document exactly what you checked: Windows security logs, VPN, and EDR logs. Then, include the specific query you used. Detail your findings, the suspicious users, IPs, and times. Map your activity to MITRE techniques like valid accounts or PowerShell. Explain the risk and provide recommendations like resetting passwords, tuning rules, or creating new SIM alerts. This is how you show professional work. It builds trust and ensures your findings lead to real security improvements. Next, we'll wrap up with the key lesson from today's session. Don't wait for alerts. Start hunting. The key lesson from today's session is simple. Alert monitoring tells you what the tool detected. Threat hunting helps you find what the tool missed. Remember this line. Alerts show incidents. Behavior shows attackers. Only a strong hunting mindset can find them. In today's session, we learned the difference between monitoring and hunting and how to map activity to MITRE attack. In the next session, we will learn how a hunter builds questions, thinks like an attacker, and creates hunting hypotheses. Subscribe to White Cyber Watch to continue your journey. Do not only wait for alerts, start hunting. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.